Sage 50 Cloud Pastel Accounting topic webinar. Guys, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing an overview on Sage Intelligence. So it's going to be very basic. This is Sage Intelligence. This is how you run reports. I did do a webinar last year on basic troubleshooting. You're welcome to go see that video. It should be available on our YouTube channel. So guys, that being said, I'm going to open up my Pastel. As you can see, I'm working in Express just for a bit of a change because normally I work in Partner. But Sage Intelligence is also available for Express. Now guys, when you open your company, normally for Sage Intelligence, you go to View and Intelligence Reporting. And you may see no reports. Now this either indicates that Sage Intelligence is not installed, or in my case, because I'm running Partner, that may have occurred. Now, if you don't know where to go and find Sage Intelligence, you need to go to pastelupdate.sagesouthafrica.co.za. Guys, please make sure that it is a HTTPS://. If you do HTTP, it's going to give you some errors. We have secured the site, so please make sure it is on the secure site. S stands for secure. And then guys, sorry, you're going to go to modules and additional applications. And basically here you're going to see debtors manager and access. Sorry guys, I'm in the wrong place. I thought this was where we had put. This is also where you can get payroll, by the way. Sorry, Sage Intelligence is here. So guys, you can see that there are two different installs. One is for Partner and one is for Express. So I'm going to download the Express. As I said, sometimes if you do have both, it can cause a bit of confusion. But I'm going to download my Express and I'm going to install my Express. So if it says no reports, it's probably that it's not installed, or you may need to uninstall and reinstall it and make sure that it is the latest version. So you can also see that this is under Sage 50 Cloud or version 19. So guys, if you're not running 19, you need to then look for the Sage Intelligence for the version you're running. Now guys, as always, I am going to specify, please stay up to date with your Pervasive, with your Pastel, and with your Windows. Those three things work in conjunction with each other. Guys, to be clear, oh, okay, that was probably when I was on mute. Sorry guys, I'm just double checking that everything's okay. But guys, to be very clear, the latest version of Pastel is has a valid digit signing certificate. That means that when Windows looks at it, it goes, yes, this is valid software, it's legitimate, cool. 2, it's GDPR and POPIA compliant. And 3, all of the fixes that we do are on that version. Now, guys, we have had instances where people upgrade, they didn't have a problem on an old version, say 2009, and then they see in 19 there actually is a problem now. That could happen, so it's something you need to bear in mind. But guys, with Pervasive 13 is the latest version, and we are finding that we seem to have less issues on Pervasive 13, less error code 20, less status 94 than we do on the other versions. And it's a very nominal fee, and we would advise that if you are having those issues that is frustrating you, please look at upgrading to Pervasive 13, because it just does seem that they've put some more stability in that version. And we know that Sage Intelligence did have a problem with client server version 13. If you guys didn't get the update, which actually happened a year or 2 ago, that is no longer an issue. So if you were licensed for client server version 13, guys, Sage Intelligence does work with it now. So guys, that being said, I've downloaded my Sage Intelligence. So I'm just going to close my Pastel. You don't need to, but I always feel that it's better to close the application when we install. So I'm just going to run that installation. So I click on it from here. I'm using Chrome, so I can do that. If you are using Edge or Firefox, it may ask you where to save, and you may need to go and browse. So guys, my downloads all download to my download folder, as you can see. But I ran it straight from the little bar at the bottom. So it's going to ask me if I want to install. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to accept the license agreement, because if you don't, it will not install. I'm going to say yes and install. And this may take a couple of moments. So guys, I did get a couple of other questions. One of the question was, how do I consolidate all of my companies into one report using Sage Intelligence? The reports are run in every single company. So my advice there would be that you create a consolidated company and you consolidate one or more into a company that is only for reporting. Pastel does have that functionality, and that would be my advice to you. If you need to have one report run for all of your companies, you're going to need to get hold of a report designer, and you're going to need to find out if that is possible without you consolidating the companies. Regrettably, I do not know if it's possible. If it is possible, it will need to be a customized report that will need to be written for you using all of the containers. Okay, guys, so that's installed. So I'm going to open my Express again. And guys, you'll notice within Express, if you are running Partner, that there are certain features that Partner has that Express does not have. So I'm working in Express just in case people see that, because I have had people say, hey, I saw you using this thing, but I don't have access to it. And that is because you're running Express and not Partner. So like the reorder assistant, that is specific to Partner. Recurring invoices is specific to Partner. So bill of materials, Partner, multi-currency, Partner. So guys, I'm using Express just so that people can also see that there are slight differences, but it's still the same program in essence. So guys, hopefully, okay, I did not wait for my options to load. So sometimes that occurs when it hasn't loaded fully. It just gives you that message to switch to or wait. So I just said switch to. Apologies, that was me being faster than my computer. Go to intelligence, run reports, and guys, we can see now I have access to all of my reports. Now guys, these are the stock standard reports. If these are not the reports you want, you can either get them written for you, or if you've had them written, you will need to import the reports using the report manager. So guys, you can import reports, but these will need to be AL reports. So if you go into Excel and you change your Excel around and you save that Excel template and you make sure that it's linked. So guys, if we open this up, these are our standard reports. So a lot of the time what we'll do is we'll create a copy of said report. Here you come, copy. And it does not want to copy. Sorry guys, I don't know if I'm just pasting it funny. There we go. So guys, I'm not sure if I was just pasting that funny. Sorry about that. But basically, once you've created a copy, so you'll see here, it tells you to edit this report, you have to make a copy. Once you make the copy, here you'll see is the Excel spreadsheet. This is where you can come in if you've created your Excel spreadsheet and you can point it to that report. So if it's no longer the stock standard Excel report, you've added pivot tables, that type of thing, you can either save it as obviously the XLTX, and it should then save it like that, or you can give it a new name, and then you would need to obviously come and find it by clicking on the 3 dots. So guys, please do not make the mistake of assuming that if you've created an Excel spreadsheet, that's what you need to import. No, the Excel spreadsheet is what runs. These reports have specific filters, as you can see, and it's looking in specific places. So there are columns, there are filters, there are parameters, there are short fields, there are aggregate filters. So depending on what you're using, this is telling you, okay, this is what needs to happen. Now, yes, guys, you can sit here, add, remove, that type of thing. And if you want to spend the time to do that, you're welcome to. I cannot tell you exactly how this works. It's not something I've played with. These are just the properties though. So this is working within the container that you have. If none of these work for you, so for example, the parameters, you may want to set parameters, for example, in your sales report that it shows, you know, only from a document type 03 and up, or something like that. You can set those parameters. So again, so I mean, guys, you can set parameters. As you can see, start date equal to or greater than. Filters, what filters do I want? Here we've got the document type, greater than or equal to 3. Document type less than or equal to 5. So you may want to change those filters and change those parameters, but you do need to know what you're doing. You do need to understand the basics of what the different document numbers are called. So for example, document 3 is a customer invoice. Document 5 is a credit note. So document 3, 4, and 5 are your updated credit notes. 1 and 2 are your quotations, your sales orders, and your purchase orders. So guys, you need to bear those in mind with the numbers. So 6, for example, I think is purchase orders, 8 or 6 is quotes on supplier side, 7, because 8 is your supplier invoice, 9 and 10. So 9 would be your return and debit, and 10 is your credit to supplier. But you need to actually know those numbers in order to be able to change these accordingly. And the thing is, you can play around with them, but obviously you need to play in a copy. And the reason for that is because people have made mistakes and they've done it on the original. And if you've messed up your original, the original is messed. So we lock the original so you can play in the copy, change the parameters, change the properties, change the columns if you want. Now guys, when you go to add, this is going to be specific to the container. So there are specific containers in Pastel. These are your data tables. So if it's history headers, history lines, customer master, supplier master, that's what it's going to be looking at. And you can choose what you want to see and what you don't want to see in terms of the information. So you can add those and remove those, and you can do that here. But when I say if there's a specific report that you need to do something that you can't make it work here, that is where you need a report writer, because chances are this only has, for example, history headers, history lines, and customer master. But maybe you also need the GL master as part of this. In that regard, you're going to need someone who can actually build, pulling on those specific containers. So we call them containers. And then you can look at the column. So if the column is missing, that's because the container that you need is in a or the heading is missing because it belongs to a container that is not part of this report. So guys, you can come here, you can play around, but as I said, as you can see, at month start, at month end, at, use, or logic, logical expression. And guys, you do need to know what this is saying. Honestly, I can't help you here. Basically, I understand it saying this is the start date. It has to be greater than or equal to the month start. And then it needs to be less than or equal to the month end. And basically, it's where you go 3 and 5 on your filters. In terms of the logical expression, I'm not a programmer, so I generally don't play in these fields. You might want to go do a Sage Intelligence course on Sage University, or you may want to speak to a report writer. But this is where you can go, guys. If you do understand what that means, if you are a programmer, cool. Sort fields, aggregate filters. As you can see, these are blank for these ones. So this, as I said, is also where you can change your Excel spreadsheet. But if we are talking about importing, so we actually want to add a report, we want to import a report. Guys, you're going to see that we have, hold on, I don't think that I'm in the right place, because this is actually adding a report. Sorry guys, importing a report. Adding a report would be when you're designing a report. But if we are importing, what you're looking for is you're looking for a file called AL. So it's an AL report. So for example, guys, if I had to take the management report and I had to export the report, it's going to export the report for me as an AL report. So it is not an Excel spreadsheet. So you're not going to import your Excel spreadsheets. Those are where you need to link them. You can see here it's telling me, okay, where do I want to export this? And it is called .al. So that is an actual report. Now I've saved it in my documents. Now if I wanted to import that report, I'm going to select my financial reports. I'm going to say import my report, and you will see that I can now import the AL report. When I go open, you're going to see that it's now going to ask you questions. It's going to ask you, okay, what is this report's name? I'm just changing the name, guys. I don't want to overwrite that one. It's going to create by company, and then report container source. Guys, you can leave all of that as is. Basically here, you're going to use Pastel 17 auto connection. Guys, we know it says 17, but it is still the auto connection that you're using. And where are you putting it? Do you want a new folder called new reports? Do you want to put it under financial reports? So you're choosing where to put it, and then you're going import, and it's going to import the report. So if you get a report made for you, they are going to send it to you as an AL template. So guys, do you see that it's already telling me, hey, you're importing this report and it's got a container that already has this. Do you want to import to use this container for your reports? You can just say yes. Again, it's asking me, yes, okay. And the report should hopefully be there. So guys, there it is. Sorry, I just needed it to come through. But as you can see, it's telling me again, I need to make a copy because it's seeing it as the actual report. So if I want to change anything, they're saying this is the original of this, you need to make a copy. So that's importing reports that have been created for you. Do not mistake an actual report designed for Sage Intelligence as an Excel report that you have created. Then guys, from here, you can also choose to run a specific report if you wanted to. You can run it from here, or you can run it from your Pastel. It should do the same thing. So here we can see that start and end. So I could, for example, run this for the whole year, and it will run through. So what it's trying to do is it's checking all the different things, because Sage Intelligence uses .NET, which also uses Excel. So we're using both of those functions. So if you get any specific errors, you need to know, is it .NET that's having the issue? Is it the data container or the data place? So the company in PCC that has a problem, PCC is a pervasive control center for those of you who don't know. Sorry guys, I was doing something earlier. And it runs through those filters and then it will bring up your Excel. If we open it, then hopefully we can click on our different options. So for example, this is the management account. So it's giving us our income statement and balance sheet. So we can click on our option. It's going to ask us what this is. So income statement. You can give it a name and it's going to run. And it's going to produce the information for you. Now guys, once this is created, you can then edit this accordingly. You can save it so it will save like that. And then when you run it again, it will hopefully remember your saves, basically. So guys, there are specific reports. As I said, this is the management pack. You can go through, you can run a balance sheet, for example. And guys, on what these reports are running, not an accountant, just a specialist. This is obviously your income statements and balance sheet. These are your financial reports. That's what management accounts are. That's what it's running here. So you can run all of those accordingly so that you can have a good look at them. You can put them here for someone to go through your management reports. And then here you can see, do you want to save the changes? If you say yes, it will remember those changes. If you say no, it's going to print it like you never made any changes. Now, guys, if I go out of Report Manager, which is where I was, and we look at just Sage Intelligence and run reports, here we can see that you can do the demonstration of Financial Report Designer. This will show you how that works and how you can design that report. We've got our Financial Report Designer, so actually creating that. Then you've got your Inventory Master, your Purchase Master, your Sales Master. So this is obviously checking your inventory. You can check it based on certain filters. Your Purchase Master is exactly that. It's what you've purchased from your suppliers. Your Sales Master is what you've sold. You've got your Dashboard Analysis, and then your Analysis Dashboard and RKL Dashboard. Now, guys, I don't know the difference between these. I'm really sorry. I'm hoping that my accountants do. As I said, guys, I'm not an accountant. My job is to understand Pastel, understand how Pastel works, and help you if Pastel isn't working the way it's meant to. My job is not to do accounting, actually. We do the software support side of things, so please forgive me that I actually don't know what these necessarily show or the difference between them. All of these do say demo though. As you can see, stock reorder levels would be your reorder levels based on your maximum and minimum, your financial ratio calculator, your ledger transaction details, so your detailed ledger, and then your management pack and your management pack IFRS. So guys, I'm assuming these are terms that you understand in terms of accounting. I do understand basically what these reports run. And if you go, hey, I ran this report and it's not working and it's a standard report, guys, we know what to look at. There are certain things that unfortunately can go wrong. Sometimes we have had calculations be wrong, and we've obviously had to address those. However, if you run a customized report and you phone us and go, my customized report isn't doing what I need it to, guys, we are the wrong people to speak to. Standard reports, absolutely give us a ring. We will help you to the best of our ability. You will need to tell us what's wrong because, again, we're not your accountant, so we can't just look at a report and you go, do you see what's wrong with it? No, unfortunately not. You need to tell us my sales is off, or it's populating all the same features for March, April, May, June, and July, and it's not meant to be doing that. They have vastly different things. It's a standard report. I don't know why it's doing this, and then we can look at it. Guys, things to bear in mind when that happens though, if you do run a report and you ran that report and you customized your Excel, if you did calculations on your Excel report, you need to bear in mind that it may not necessarily be the data being pulled out of Pastel. It could be whatever you did. Sorry guys, there's no data on there, which is why I normally run the management reports. I'm sure that I did do sales though, so I'm just going to run that for the whole year. But guys, basically, I know why. Sorry guys, I did not roll my company over. So guys, just bear that in mind. It could be, and questions you will be asked is, have you gone and customized your Excel spreadsheet? Because if you've customized your Excel spreadsheet, it could have been an if statement that you pulled out, or it could have been where you went and changed a formula and now suddenly it's copying it across. So you do need to bear that in mind. We may need to obviously, send you our reports, because that's why you create a copy, to be honest. Like even on these reports, if you run them from here, guys, I still strongly advise that if you are going to even customize your Excel reports, that you still go into Report Manager and create a copy. Because if anything goes wrong, you can rather go back to the one that is in fact in the Sales Master if you've gone and changed this accordingly. Because you can then rather delete this, remake a copy and re-edit it, or you can delete the XLTX, link it back to the original, and start over. So just bear that in mind. Sometimes the changes that you do make in Excel could be the problem and could be why you're having issues. But obviously, guys, if it's a standard report and we're like, hey, did you change anything in the Excel template? And you're like, no, we need to have a look at that and go, okay, something's wrong. On Pastel, it's saying, for example, quantity 14. Why is it pulling 12 here? Where did that happen? Out of period processing, and we start looking for the reasons. But guys, if you are using a customized report, we can't help you with that. You need to get hold of the report writer and say to them, the customized report is not working correctly. You need to help me, because only they know what they did in order to customize that report. Now, guys, obviously I've gone through quite a lot of things, but I didn't actually explain what Sage Intelligence is. So Sage Intelligence is exactly what it says. It is intelligence reporting, where you can run reports to Excel and it pulls the information from Pervasive into an Excel format where you can create robust reports that you can use in management meetings, and you can check your financial situation stuff. Obviously, Pastel does have its specific reports itself, but Sage Intelligence is now customizable. You could put pivot tables against it, all of that kind of stuff. You can customize those Excel templates. Okay, guys, there is a question, but it's not to do with Sage Intelligence, so I will come back to you. But sorry, guys, I just wanted to check. No one had said sound had disappeared, so I will come back to that. But guys, that's the crux of what Sage Intelligence is. Now, when you use Sage Intelligence, you can have access. Sorry, guys, I meant to click on view, not my cash book. You can view all of these reports, but there may be specific reports that you don't want certain users to have access to. So I'm obviously logged in as the supervisor. You can absolutely, if you go to set up users and passwords and users, obviously you need sole access mode, guys, which means no other windows open and only you logged into the company. And guys, if I had to create a new user, you can see intelligent reporting for user 1. So I can block this user from having access to certain of the reports. I can be like, yeah, I only want you to run the sales master, or I only want you to have access to the financial calculator, that type of thing. Now guys, obviously if I do go supervisor, you can see that that locks out, view only, full accounting. So this is only if you're choosing personalized. If you do use groups, because groups can be really useful, obviously if you have a number of people using the same, or they have the same job function, you don't need to then come in and create each user and set up their access and everything. You can go to user groups. This is where in the user groups, you will see supervisors always have access to everything, guys. You're not going to be able to restrict them. But here you can see that these specific options, this is where you would set up the intelligence report access. So if Joanne and Tabi Singh and Godfrey all are in sales and we all need access to the sales master, you might have a group called sales. You're going to set up all of our permission once, because you're just going to have the group sales. You'll set up that we can only access sales here. And then when you create us as users, Joanne and Tabi Singh and Godfrey, where it says user group, you're going to put sales. You don't have to set up the rest, because you would have set everything up here in the menu option and the process option once off, without you having to go and set us up each individually. For those of you who do know this, yes, of course, you can always copy from one user to another. So guys, you can see here, I can say copy from group or copy from user. That is true, and you can just make the 1 or 2 changes. But guys, honestly, if you have a group of people who have the same job function, need the same access, I would use groups. If you have people who have similar access, but 1 or 2 changes, that's when you can set up one individual who has the most access, copy them to the other individuals and just change their access as they go and leave them on personalized. Because you don't need 3 different groups. You've got 3 people with similar functions, but there are small differences. To have 3 groups, you might as well just rather set them up as personalized. So that's why you would use groups over personalized, and vice versa. When only one person has specific functions, they're personalized. If more than one person follows the exact same preferences, processing menu, and intelligence reporting, you set up a group. Hope that makes sense, guys. Just a little tip, but that's where you would set up the intelligence restriction. So you can restrict your reports for those of you who want to know. And then guys, basically I've shown you how it runs. You come in, you run the report, you select your filters, and the report runs to Excel. You can also launch the report manager, report download, community, help, and guys, connector will only be available if you have access to the connector. This is a specific function that you need in order to write reports from scratch. And you do need to pay for it, and you do need to be trained on it. So the reason the connector is there is because that allows me to connect to the containers. In Report Manager, if we look at the options, we can see that we've got home. We can add a folder or refresh until I actually click on an option. Once I click on an option, it immediately goes, okay, do I want to add a report? Do I need to rename this? Do I need to delete? So guys, as you look, you can see what's happening. If I click on a report, it lets me run, create a shortcut, lock, unlock, run a sample, test the connection. Now guys, the check test connection is if you're getting that message that it cannot connect to the data, you want to check that connection, you want to see if it's running. Guys, this is also where you will come. You can come here and you can also check your options. So with the management, so you're getting an error. This is where you want to come, because this is where you're going to come and check. And you're going to check, okay, what is my DDF path? What is my DAC path? Why is it telling me that I can't run this report? why is it telling me that it's incorrect? And this is where we will tell you, hey, come here and please check that one. For Sage Intelligence, guys, you can see that I've got all these past 19 and then the company name. For Sage Intelligence, that's what I need. These ones here are where I've been testing data. So you guys have an issue, we tell you we need the data to check what's happening. This is how I add your data to check it. I add the agent's name and then I add the data. So if I had to try to run for this company, it wouldn't work because it doesn't have the PAS 19. So it basically stands for Pastel, the version, and then the company name. And guys, this is the folder name. So PAS 19 leg 2022. In the demo, it's PAS 19 demo. And then I can see where this is sitting. If you're on a workstation, this should be the map drive, the Pastel or the Express folder, and then demo. So guys, in this instance, this is actually looking at my partner. This is not looking at my Express. So this is running from partner because it's looking in the Pastel 19. If I need this to run off of my Express, so if my information is wrong, this is where I would have a look and I'd be like, whoa, why is it looking there? It needs to be looking here in my Express folder, because partner always says Pastel and Express says Express. So that could be another reason why information is incorrect. To my BPs, if you have partner and Express, you may have experienced this. You may need to just come and change the DDF and DAT file path. Verify the paths and make sure that they're okay. Guys, this is also where we might tell you, look, delete the file path and re-add it, and you've got to put that PAS 19 demo. So for example, so guys, we can see it's doing like that, and then it's asking me, okay, and where is this? Come on, let me know. And I need to go and find it. And it does that twice because it's asking for the DDF and the DAT file path. So just bear that in mind. If you do have both, it might change it. Now guys, I'm getting an error. So it's going, whoa, something's gone wrong. And the report has been deleted. So in this instance, I would need to fix this, guys. And this is where I then probably need to uninstall, reinstall Pervasive, on top of which I can do the following. And what I'm doing is I'm removing all of my Pervasive links. I'm saying yes. And guys, we do have documents on this. This isn't actually about troubleshooting. This is just about how Sage Intelligence works, but just to show you, you can Control-Alt-Shift-C. It'll remove all of the tables or all of my links. And now I don't have any. And I can add my databases again. And guys, if this doesn't work, then you need to go into the Pervasive Control Center itself. So I know that this is tricky for a lot of people, which is why I wanted to show you. But guys, now we can see that that is back. So something went wrong. I removed all of my links. I went, okay, something's gone horribly wrong. Let me remove those links. I came in, I reset them up, and everything is okay again. Okay, So guys, as I said, there are two parts. There's the run report, launch report manager, and report manager is where you can change the Excel template. This is where you can import reports. It's where you can export reports. You can create a new folder. And guys, if you are going to add a report, this is where you can choose a standard report or a union report. So a union report is a combination of one or more or two or more reports. So I might want my sales master and my dashboard sales master, for example. And I can click on OK. And that's going to create a union report. A standard report is just one of those reports. Sorry guys, new reports, demo one. Sorry, so as you can see there, it's a separate report, that's a union report. So this would just be a standard report. So if you want to combine some of these reports together, you're like, actually, I want the ledger and I want the sales report together, that type of thing, you create a union report. That's what you can do here. Unfortunately, when this says create report, guys, it does not mean adding containers and stuff. This means add a report, a union report or a standard report. What are you adding? Why are you adding it? You may want to add the sales report, but give it a completely different name. And you may want to go into Excel and completely change that template. Now, guys, with Sage Intelligence, it is important to know where it saves those templates to. And where it saves it is on the C drive or on the server machine. You should always save it in the same place. Can you save it on your C drive? Of course you can. But guys, generally you need to save it in the same place. And sorry guys, it's in registration, which is weird, under templates. And that's where all of these reports are. So you can obviously change that, and you can go, actually, I would prefer under custom Sage Intelligence, and you can create templates here. These are all the files needed for Sage Intelligence. Now, guys, it may seem weird that this is in registration, but there is a reason for it. When I came in originally, you saw it said no reports. Now, if I'd already installed my Sage Intelligence for Express, I would have had to uninstall my Sage Intelligence. If I uninstall my Sage Intelligence, this entire folder disappears. So if you put your templates under Sage Intelligence and you've done a lot of work on changing them, putting pivot tables in, whatever you're doing to them, and saving them so that when you run that report monthly, that pivot table gets generated accordingly, you're going to be very upset if you get that error and you remove Sage Intelligence and suddenly all of your templates are gone. So guys, while it's strange that it's under registration, it's there because the registration folder does not generally get deleted unless we tell you to delete it. But again, guys, I personally think that you should rather just put it straight in the Express folder. Maybe put them there, especially if you are going to use the same templates for multiple companies. Otherwise, you can leave it in custom, or guys, put it in your documents so that there's no chance of ever deleting those Excel templates. But that is where they are saved. So they are saved to the, sorry guys, sometimes my system does this, they are saved to the registration folder. So if you do mess up, you can come here, you can delete it. As I said, guys, I would make a copy. And once we've made that copy, then play around with your reports. Rather unlock the reports. You don't want to be playing around and mess it up. Yes, of course, you can come and uninstall your Sage Intelligence, delete the templates folder, reinstall it, and it'll put everything back in its original format. but you may also not wish to do that. You may wish to rather just create the copy, and if it doesn't work, you can delete the copy and rather retry. Guys, other than the question that wasn't about Sage Intelligence, does anyone have any questions about Sage Intelligence? Do you understand the basics of running the reports? Did you find this helpful, how to import a report, that type of thing? If you can please send me your questions now. Guys, honestly, that is basically it. That is the overview of Sage Intelligence. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to give you a moment. And if I don't see any questions, guys, then I'm going to answer that question with regards to something else in Pastel not working. Okay, guys, while I wait, the question is that you're getting a message that suppliers and customers aren't allowed to process for any period besides March. If you're a supervisor, that shouldn't be the case, but if you are not a supervisor, that means that your access has been restricted. So basically, in users, it means that you're not part of the supervisor group. You may be part of personalized or another group, but you're going to need to check the menu, not the menu access, the processing options, because chances are multi-period processing and can change transaction date is not selected. If you can process everything else in multiple period, but only your documents are happening at a specific date, please make sure that can change transaction date is selected. If these are not selected, and they are not selected by choice, I still strongly advise that gets changed. But basically, in this instance, it means that you can only process one period at a time. You would need to increment the period. And as you can see, it says current period 1, which is March 2021 in this company. So if I wanted to be able to process April, I would need to increment the period. And what it'll do is it will then move to period 2, which is April 2021. Guys, as I said, this company is behind. Apologies, it is the demo. And it is Express, it's not partner where I ran the year end. But basically, that's how single periods work. So sometimes you don't want your employees to be able to process in multiple periods, because this can create out of period processing. So you can only work in the period that I've said you can work in. Now, point of sale uses the system date, but Pastel, and I'm not sure why my system is freezing, uses your period table. So if you go to set up periods, depending on how many periods you have, you can have up to 13. It will give you the start date and the end date of each period. Generally, it's March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, February, and sometimes March again. Most people will tick the option, use last period as first period of next year. If they're running 13 periods, because they want March to be period 1. But if this says current period, period 1, that means whatever the start and end date for period 1 is, that is all that my user that I've not said multi-user processing can process in. So that will be the start and the end date. For example, 1st of March to 31st of March. I have to increment the period once they have said I've processed the whole of March in order for you to then be able to work April, 1st of April to 30th of April. Once that happens, again, I increment. So Pastel has that function where you can restrict people to only work in one period at a time so that they cannot process out of period, or to try to restrict them processing out of period. That's why that is there, but the option is in setup users, and you need to check if multi-user or multi-period processing is ticked or unticked. Transaction date change is a ticked or unticked, and if multi-period processing is unticked, you can either choose to tick it, which will give you access to process in the full financial year, or you need to do a period increment via change. I hope that answers your question. I hope that is the problem. Okay, so guys, the question that I have is, how do we go about getting hold of or booking a report designer? So guys, Sage Intelligence website seems to have gone down. I don't know why, and I know that we have spoken to them about it, but so I know the help isn't working here. But if you go to Sage Intelligence and you look on resources, it is, or is it support? Sorry, under support, you can see report writer. This will give you a list of the report writers that are available. These are the known report writers that we have. Alternatively, guys, you can get hold of a business partner and find out if they can do it. You are looking for people that say Sage 50 Pastel, please. Please don't get hold of someone who just says Sage Intelligence. So this person is telling you it's Sage 50 Pastel. And guys, please also not just Sage 50. So we have a US Sage 50 and a Canadian Sage 50, and they are not pastel. They look nothing like this. So if you get hold of this specific report designer, they're going to create a report and they're going to send it to you, and you're going to go, but this doesn't work with pastel. And they're going to go, oh, but I thought you were using US or the Canadian edition. Hopefully they would check that with you first, but please make sure it says Sage 50 Pastel. So guys, you can see Mike Perks does it. Meg McDonald, Joanne Skuman, Barbara Willis, Travis Sinclair. So you can get hold of them. You can email them and say, hi, do you still do this? Can you please help me? And they will obviously then reach out to you. Alternatively, guys, if you go to sage.com/ZA, and yes, the recording, this is being recorded and it will be available. Guys, if we are here and you go to partners and you go find a partner near you, it's going to open up and you can put in your location, your country, the distance that you want to look for, and business partners will come up. A lot of our business partners can do report writing, but you would need to phone them and say, hi, can you do report writing? Alternatively, guys, Sage City. If you're not sure and you really need someone to help you, you've reached out, no one's getting hold of you, you can always come into Sage City. And guys, in Sage City, you can ask. So hopefully one of our business partners will reach out to you. You go to forums, please sign in, go to general discussion. I wouldn't go into intelligence reporting, guys. I would go to general discussion and just go, Sage Intelligence report designer needed, please send me your details, or please respond here. And hopefully our BPs will then respond to you who can do report writing, and they will say to you, hi, I can do report writing. Here my email is, or here my number is, please give me a call and let's chat. So those are 3 places you can look. And obviously the one are our report writers. I don't know when it was last updated. We have advised Sage Intelligence something seems to be wrong with their page. Guys, they are affiliated with us. They're a branch kind of with us, but not with us. It's very difficult to explain, but they maintain their own site and their own training. I am part of Sage itself, and I am a 50cloud Pastel specialist. So I hope that helps, but that's how you can get hold of them. Guys, are there any other questions? Did I answer the question with the multi-period processing? Hopefully that helps you. Have I answered the question with regards of report writing? And I did answer you with the recording. Are there any other questions, guys? Did you at least find this helpful? Did you get a bit more info? Did it help at least? I hope so. Guys, if you don't have any questions or any further questions, then that is it for me. For the person, sorry, there was one question someone emailed me. If you're still here, you asked me how you would run reports for all of your companies. And I said probably a report writer might be able to do that for you, or alternatively, what you need to do is you need to use, I think it's in partner only. I think it's in partner only. Sorry, guys. Let's see. My partner is also not registered. I'm waiting for them to register it. But there is a function where you can consolidate your accounts. That would be the other option that I would use, would be the consolidating accounts. So it is going to tell me it's not registered. I don't really care right now. I just want to be able to go to my menu. So I'm going to say cancel. I'm not going to be able to demonstrate it for you, but am I missing there? Consolidate. I don't think I saw that on Express. So guys, this is a difference again. Express doesn't have the consolidate option, but basically here you would go into consolidate. Now I don't think mine's going to let me because it's not registered. But if you go into consolidate, you can merge a number of companies into a single company. But they need to have the same periods, the same general ledger setup, the same user setup in order for you to consolidate them, and then you can run reports. But when you consolidate companies, so you take a number of companies and consolidate them into one company, it is only for reporting purposes. Guys, I think my computer's doing its weird thing where it's not seeing my file explorer, but basically you use the consolidation option. To my knowledge, we do have a KB article on that, which does explain how the consolidation works, and that would be the other way that I would do that. I hope that that helps. It's not using Sage Intelligence per se. Consolidation. Sorry guys, I know that at some point we did have this. Guys, I'll try to find it. I'm sorry, I was almost 100% sure we had an article on this. Maybe it was an old article. So I'll try to do something to create an article on how it works and possibly a video on how it actually works. But basically you need to consolidate, but things like your users, your general ledger, your periods, they all need to be the same, or else you can't consolidate the companies. Otherwise, you can speak to a report designer, basically. Okay, so guys, I see. Yeah, so guys, we've actually got a VP in here with us who said it is partner only. Thank you so much for that. I had forgotten. But you can consolidate those transactions. Again, if you're not sure how the consolidation works, you could always reach out to one of our VPs. To my BP who reminded me, can I give out your name? Please let me know if you're okay with that. Okay, so guys, we have videos. There's a lot of questions here that have nothing to do with Sage Intelligence. And I'm going to try to look through all of them, but to be honest, I think that you may need to reach out to support and actually speak to someone in support to please assist you, because these look like quite big issues, or else reach out to one of our BPs to help you. So the fact that these aren't showing as income accounts, it could be that they're unallocated or they're showing as balance sheets. If they're showing as balance sheets, then that means that you have a problem. If it is that they're unallocated, you need to view one of our videos. Sorry guys, I find it easier going here than searching YouTube, because I actually have all the links. I can give you that link. I would try that first. So unallocated accounts. So you can, I'm going to put it in the chat. You can see if this video helps you. No. Okay. I don't know why it didn't copy, but. Okay. I'm so sorry. It doesn't seem to want to copy. Control copy. Okay, this is mildly annoying. Why are you being difficult? Yeah, let's see if that works. There we go. You can, oh, sorry. Apparently I was entering it 500 million times. My apologies. I did not see that it was doing that. Sorry about that, guys. It kept showing me blank for some reason. So I don't know if my system froze for a moment. Try that, see if it's unallocated accounts. It could be. TB out of balance. I ran integrity checks, same message comes up. If it's about unallocated accounts, you need to fix the unallocated accounts. Cash book entries are consolidated. That's because you're not using unique reference numbers. It does consolidate. So you need to please stop doing that. Yeah, unfortunately, if you're not using unique reference numbers, you are going to have to manually reconcile. That is when you are processing in the cash book. So guys, please, transactions will consolidate if you use the same reference number. So you can't use CHQ0003 for every transaction. It's going to consolidate them. And basically, when it consolidates them, you're going to end up with a huge amount, and it's going to make consolidation very difficult. Generally, I advise when it goes increment references, you always say yes. And then, for example, you can give it a unique number so that you know what the system is doing. And you can say, okay, this is, for example, my current account payments 0001. It is then going to increment every time you enter. So it's going to be cap 1, cap 2, cap 3. So if I need to do this now, for example, and I'm not doing this properly, you see it says cap 2. You need to make sure that you are using unique reference numbers. Using the invoice number as the reference number for a payment is also going to consolidate it. So guys, you need to make it slightly different. So for example, if you want to do that INV 10084P for payments, or you need to then change that, for example, to IN or something so that it makes sense, but you need to use unique reference numbers. Reference numbers need to be used once, full stop. If you're going to use the same reference number in multiple places, it will consolidate. It's how the system is designed. Not sure what you mean by invoice message to be. If you want to add an invoice message, set up customers, documents, invoice message. You might need to write it over multiple lines though. Alternatively, there's a video on how to add text to your documents. You can also just go and find these live recording of webinar that I ran how to use Forms Designer. I will put it in the chat for you. I will only put it once though. There we go. You can see how to add text, then you can add that message. In order to discard your balances of previous years, start new company, take on balances. That's it. Brand new company, take on balances. Okay, so hopefully that answers all of those questions, but so hopefully that helps. I'm going to put the take on in the chat, but otherwise you may need to get hold of support just for a bit of guidance. But in terms of starting afresh with take on balances, start new company and take on balances, but you need to have the necessary information. So as well, please check the KB. So sagekb.com. You will see there why are my transactions consolidated. Because when I did the consolidation, that was there. So you can say you can read that article if you want to. How to identify transactions that make up consolidated entries. That might help you if that's still happening. And then take on balances. Oh, sorry. I should have done that in the KB. Sorry, guys, I use Google way too much. So I have given you some webinars that I ran on this, but you can also come here and check how do I process take on balances and even how do I create a new company. When creating a new company, please, okay, so here guys, you can see this did its thing, consolidate limitation. So this is what that screen looks like, the consolidation one for that lady who asked me. And you can see what it says, same account numbers, main and sub-account structure, financial categories. So there's a lot of things that need to be the same. And then you create a company name and then you start adding your companies. It is in partner only. You may need a BP to help you. Those are for reporting purposes only. Otherwise, report designer or report writer. To the gentleman, and I hope I am right, and it is a gentleman, sorry if it is a lady, or to the person rather, to the person who said that they're having all of these issues. Hopefully I've managed to systematically kind of answer them for you, and the tips that I've given you will help. If you're still stuck, I would advise please just contacting support, either through email. You can send an email to supportsa@sage.com. Please don't email me directly for no other reason, guys, than if I get very busy, your email is not monitored or my email is not monitored. So if my email is not monitored and you email me and I am really busy in a webinar or I'm, running something else and I see your mail and I just click on it, or it goes to my junk and I forget. It could be days, weeks before I respond. It hasn't happened often that I do that, but it has happened. There's also no call log that you ever sent an email. So if you phone to complain to support, they're going to be like, well, there's no incident. So guys, please, if you are going to send emails, please send them to supportsa@sage.com, like troubleshooting queries, things that you need help with, because I need to know and you need to know that there is a call log. That call's been logged. Someone is going to assist you. You are going to get the help you need, and Joanne is not going to accidentally forget that you sent me an email because I was in a 3-hour webinar and I just clicked your email to cancel it, or it is in my junk folder and I haven't checked my junk in 4 days. So guys, please, please, please support SA@sage.com. This is to make sure that you get the service that you need. The only time that sending joanne.barnard@sage.com an email is a good thing is, hey Joe, I didn't get this recording. Can you please send it to me? And guys, if after 48 hours I haven't responded to you, please send again, because it could be that it's in my junk. I tend to be quite bad at looking at my junk folder. I kind of forget, and then I'm like, oh shoot, my junk. Just to check if anyone has emailed me. But if it's webinar related, as in I need a recording, I didn't get the recording, do you have a recording on XYZ that I missed? You're welcome to email me. But even then, guys, I do refer that you rather go through support, just so that there is a call log. I still respond to those emails. I just log it in the call log that I've responded. And that way I myself cannot actually forget, because that call sits on my name and goes, hey, Joe, Andrew asked you for this call like 2 days ago, come on, in case I've forgotten. Generally, I don't. Generally, I'm pretty good at responding. But guys, there have been people that I have let down, which is really sad for me. And it's been very frustrating for them. So please, if you need help further than the recordings I've sent you, further than the tips I've given you to hopefully help with your companies and the issues you're having, please support SA@sage.com and just send them the same thing. Guys, I'm having all of these issues. Please help me. And let's see what they come back with. But I am hoping that the information I've sent you does help, and hopefully you can resolve those issues. Okay, guys, that seems to be all the questions. Hopefully you found this informative, guys. I know it wasn't what some of you hoped. Some of you hoped it was report designing, me showing you how those containers work. I'm sorry if I let you down there. I did try to specify I would never train that because I don't know how, to be very honest. I can show you how Sage Intelligence works. I can show you how to import stuff, guys. I can do all of that stuff. Unfortunately, I myself don't know how to write reports. That's not training I've gone through, much like I can't. A lot of times people are like, why won't you show us data fixing? One, because it's not something that we show, but two, I actually don't know how to do data fixing. Just so you guys know, I have a specialized team that does it. But guys, I hope that you got something out of this. You did find it informative. And I do hope that I answered the questions of the people who did send me those emails. And thank you so much for doing it. That was really awesome to get that email beforehand, to kind of be able to answer that and go, oh, these are things you're expecting, so I could manage that. That was really awesome, guys. If you do want to do that before any of these webinars, go, hey, Joe, I see you running a webinar on Tax Manager. These are questions I have about it. Please send them through to me. That was actually really cool. I've never thought to ask for questions beforehand, but that was really awesome because I can fit it into the webinar. So please feel free to do that. I will make sure that I cover them. Otherwise, guys, you can always post them here. Otherwise, that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you don't have any other questions, you can log out. I will stick around as always for a couple of minutes and answer any further questions because I think one just came in. Okay, guys, that seems to be it. So thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome day further, wonderful week. And guys, I will see you for the next one.